And good morning and good afternoon to colleagues and friends in the Americas and Europe. I'm Yan Li, Senior Program Officer of INBAR, International Bamboo and Rattan Organization. Welcome all of you to the INBAR webinar session today. The topic today is land restoration with bamboo. This is the fourth session of INBAR webinar series under the theme Bamboo for Environmental Management, which opened every Tuesday till next Tuesday.
2 months.
Same as before, my colleague Mr. Chen Tong Long is with me to moderate this session. As we know, bamboo is a versatile plant and is widely used in construction, pulping, plywood, handicrafts, food, feed and fodder, energy, and a diverse range of substantial applications, generating job opportunities and cash income for rural communities. Its exceptional environmental and biophysical property of bamboo, such as extensive fibrous rhizome and root system, fast-growing and easily regenerating, with no need for replanting, able to thrive on degraded land, soil, and sloping steep slopes where many plants cannot thrive. Stabilize loosened soil to prevent soil erosion, resilient to natural disasters, tolerant to floods and droughts, make it efficient and cost-effective crops to tackle land degradation and environmental issues. For these reasons, an increased number of countries have begun to identify and include bamboo as a high priority species for use in landscape restoration, such as Cameroon, China, Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, India, Madagascar, Thailand, the Philippines, and Vietnam. So all with the aims to contribute towards several important development and environmental targets. Though bamboo have already been extensively used in many national and subnational restoration programs, there's still less public information about bamboo-based landscape restoration initiatives, which need a careful balance of scientific research and community input, such as the selection of planting psychosis should not only meet the ecological ecologically the soil and climate conditions, but also the socially and political supported context. Today's webinar will discuss about where, why, and how to restore degraded land with bamboo from community-based levels to national scales. And we will also discuss the challenges, lessons learned, and the recommendations for future actions. Today's session will begin with 3 presentations from our panelists and following by panel discussion. If you have any questions, please write in the Q&A session. We will deliver it to our panelists. As we may not able to address all your questions today, please leave your email account into the feedback form. You can click the link provided in the chat box in the right hand. So today we will have 3 distinguished panelists. Professor Yang Yuming from Yunnan Academy of Forestry and Grassland. He will introduce the application of tropical cypodium species for landscape restoration and ecological restoration projects. And following by Mr. Tom Okello, Executive Director of National Forestry Authority of Uganda. He will tell us land restoration achievements with bamboo in Uganda. And Mr. Jeremy Director of a global program of INBAR. He will share the experience and the lessons learned from community-based landscape restoration with bamboo. So now I would like to invite our first presenter, Professor Yang Yuming. Professor Yang is a standing committee member of the Chinese Bamboo Industry Society. He is also the honorable chair of Yunnan Bamboo and Rattan Association. Professor Yang was a recognized scientist on natural resources management and bamboo taxonomism in China. With PhD in environmental science, Professor Yang has more than 30 years experience in forest surveying and planning, management and utilization, biodiversity conservation, and bamboo researches. So, Professor Yang, the floor is yours.
Please unmute. Ask him to unmute.
Professor Yang, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
可以接下去啊，可以这样去啊，可以吗？现在。
Yeah, now Professor Yang, please go ahead.
Okay,
we heard you. Yeah.
Thank
you.
Good evening and good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to have this very important opportunity. Give a presentation about the utilization of the tropical simple-tailed bamboo in ecological restoration and landscape construction. Thank you, Ms. Lee. Introduce. I come from in Academy of Forestry and Grassland and the Southwest Forestry University of China. So you know, the bamboo is the fastest growing in the world plants. Not only prevent bamboo shoots, edible food, and core material for many use, but also bamboo is excellent. Have excellent ecological protection function surveillance, and also special simple-tailed bamboo depend on the rhythm is very special, is beautiful landscape construction and useful ornament and horticulture. So in past, Su Dongbo, a very famous Chinese literature, also said, I would rather eat without meat, but I can't resent in without bamboo. So bamboo is a plant very important in our living. So this map show the bamboo natural distribution in the world.
Yang 老师, excuse me, Professor Yang, please play your presentation because the screen is it's not moving. 杨老师，就您的那个 PPT 没有在动，您可能需要播放一下，一边讲一边动。
OK。
OK, thank you.
能放我自己的那个好一点，那个，这个 OK，So, there are more than 1,200 species of bamboo in the world. So the Asia is very rich in bamboo species, more than 700. In China, more than 500 species. In Yunnan, 282 species. So you can see Yunnan is very important for the bamboo resources in the world. So the circle is show Yunnan not only the bamboo very rich, but also Yunnan is the original place of the bamboo. Is also called the homeland of the bamboo. That's due to the discovery the first bamboo fossil in South Yunnan in 2003. That's the first bamboo fossil, and you can see the bamboo living fossil and the bamboo the corn noodle. So Yunnan, China is also the called homeland of the bamboo. So Yunnan bamboo not only very rich genus, genre and species, but also morphology and habitat diversity. Most bamboo like rubber lake, brush lake, grass lake, vineyard lake, and even epiphytical in Golico Mountain. So you can see this arbor lake, this epiphytical only in Golico Mountain west of Yunnan, this endemical genus of the bamboo, and also this Fagesia shrub lake is also very important for mountain area soil erosion. In South Yunnan, the main bamboo like rattan in tropical rainforest. This is very good for ornament and even grass like bamboo. Okay. So simple down bamboo, the common cropping type is very diversity. So like this, there's so many, they're very beautiful for ornament. So bamboo ecological function depend on this underground, the rhizome type. So this very typical simple tail bamboo. This rhizome no long, and the growth very close. And this the rhizome and the extension in some distance. So the comb, the roots, Scandinavian, the comb bamboo, and this the subtropical, the monopodial bamboo rhizome extension, the far distance, just like the Philostakis, Edulis, and Indosasa. And also the last one, the mixture podel rhizome, this natural distribution in southwest China and east Himalaya, just like the Chimulocalamus, Chungjunia, Fagesia, and Isania. That's very important for mountain area soil erosion control. So you can see this typical simple tail bamboo. The rhizome is very short. And the comb grows very close. This typical Dendrocalamus, Memobranus. This endemical species along Mekong River, and the plant is very important control soil erosion, and also is a good having the water resources conservation along river. So yes, also sympodial rhizome, but this rhizome can extend long, but no roots and the rhizome. So this is also the tropical Spedostachys and Guado in South America. This is also popular in tropical area. It's good for mountain area and soil erosion, and also can natural distribution and plant along river bank and road side. Just monopodial rhizome bamboo, a long rhizome, and rhizome does not have the roots and can extend in long area and far distance. This is also popular in East China, belong to the subtropical. So this is good for the plant, the flat area, but not available for mountain area for ecological function service. And the mixture podel rhizome bamboo, this and the mountain area in southwest China and east Himalaya. That's very important for soil erosion. So you can see the Fagesia, Isania, and the Chimulocalamus and the Chungjunia. So you can see sometimes the comb grows very close, and sometimes rhizome extending along the comb grows the loose. So next, give some introduce about very important the bamboo species, special in tropical area. So the first is M. planocalamuse. That's very special only in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, there's monoanthes in Xishuangbanna. So in tropical rainforest area, that's very beautiful, beautiful for ornament, and also can use for mountain area for ecological function surveys, and it's very beautiful. Still temple for vertical ornamental. This Bambusa blumiana very important in Southeast Asia country. This picture taken from Philippines. They're popular in Philippines and used for the river bank and roadside. And the roadside is good for river bank soil protection. So Cephalosacium is very important in Southwest Yunnan and North Myanmar and East India. Very important. Local people use internodal cooking seed rice and also plant around the village and makes ecological surveillance protecting the village living environment and for water resources conservation. There's also very special cumulocalamus. It's also tropical simple bamboo in South Yunnan and North Vietnam. Is also endemical in along Red River area. This very special can secrete aromatic oil in the internodal and also plant in the wetland. So this bamboo can suitable for wetland area. So plant around the lake or close the river bank. So this Dendrocalamus asper, quite famous, introduced from Southwest Yunnan to South America and Africa many years ago, and very successful plant and developed in many tropical area. So Dendrocalamus brandisi is waste bamboo shoots. This bamboo can use for many purposes. Bamboo shoots very delicious, and the corm can use for many purposes and construction material, and also plant along river and wetland. So this in tropical rain forest area. So Dendrocalamus hamiltoni. Hamiltoni in Xishuangbanna is also quite famous. The shoots and the big corm, local people use for construction material. This Dendrocalamus latiflorus is also introduced from Yunnan to Southeast Asia, Hainan Island and Taiwan. So this also imagine the Dendrocalamus membrana shelves along Mekong River, from upper Mekong River and stream Mekong River is very important for river bank protection. Dendrocalamus barbatus important in Vietnam. I take this picture in Vietnam. Also the corm grows slows, and the timber is very good, and also good for water resources conservation and the soil erosion. Dendrocalamus barbatus internodia radiculata is similar, and also Dendrocalamus giganteus is very important for energy biomass. So in Xishuangbanna, established the first combo sink forest in Xishuangbanna, and also Dendrocalamus sinicus, the biggest bamboo in the world. So you can see diameter more than 30 centimeters. Corm is very tall, more than 30 meters. So it's introduced from Yunnan to Ecuador. Dendrocalamus asper. This uses Ecuador augustifolia plant, the building along the road, protecting the road. That's very good in Brazil. That's in Ecuador. And this also another mountain area, Chusquay, Moto Ana. Moto Ana is similar with Fagesia in mountain area, more than 2,000 meter, 2,000 meter above sea level, and also in mountain area for ecological restoration and soil protection. So Secretary will introduce about the reproduction and the cultivation. So this time limited issue the faster. So the first use bamboo seeds. This directly can cultivate in nursery. So collect the seeds. They're very important. The seeds you can see small, from small to the bigger. The big one, Melocana. So use the seeds. This process in nursery. So this needs 3 or 4 months can cultivate in nursery. This asexual reproduction use corm directly in field for 4 months. So use this corm, the buried the corm directly in field for 4 months. Put into in bag for the transplant. So this nodal, 1 nodal counting and 2 nodal counting and the main branch counting. This 1 nodal, 2 nodal, and the main branch. That's very easy and very popular in South India and the Southeast Asia country. So I also take many training courses for this. So this is very important and main asexual reproduction for tropical simple bamboo. So there's 1 nodal counting in bag, 1 nodal counting in nursery, and 1 nodal counting in Thailand. There's 2 nodal counting and 1 nodal, 2 nodal, and the main branch counting. Main branch counting is popular and is very easy and low cost, very cheap. So we are also introduced this cultivation technology from Yunnan to Ecuador and Peru texture training course and 20 years ago. So this branch cutting in Peru, this in nursery, very easy. And also the third asexual reproduction, the branch planting roots inducement counting. So this easy. Our year can use this methodology. So tissue culture, asexual propagation technology is also popular in China. But this only in simple dare, cannot use for monopodal bamboo. So this due to the simple dare bamboo, the nodal have the living buds can inducement the roots and the buds. So this process from collect the plants and in laboratory and cultivate and branding, hunting branding, and plant in field, macro propagation tissue culture is also in Thailand very successful. In Kasetsat University, the collaborate with our Southwest University, Forestry University many years ago. So this tissue culture bamboo, young plants in nursery. So we are also successful use tissue culture for Dendrocolumnus sinicus, use bamboo shoots, the top of the bamboo shoots, the successful cultivate the seedling. So sustainable management is very important for simple bamboo plantation and forest. So you can see there's 6 seedling, and there's 1 the seedling grows very fast. The seedling from tissue culture. That's also from tissue culture. So this is also this from main branch. So you can see this 1 to 2 year, 2 to 3 year, 4 to 5 year, grows very fast. So a plant, the seedling of bamboo, the good, with another pine tree and evergreen, broad living tree is very good for anti insects and disease. This means the good growing and more benefits for bamboo and the tree. And another mixture cultivation methodology, the bamboo and the crop, bamboo and the tea, bamboo and mushroom, bamboo and the medicine, and the bamboo and the rattan. So you can see this in Vietnam, bamboo and the medicine, this bamboo and the crop. And also bamboo with mushroom, the successful in Sichuan province by our study group many years ago. So also plant the planting can with tree, even next banana or the sugar cane together in tropical area. This can use a stripe and a mustic and a pinch. So this picture ecological cultivation is good for environment, and the sustainable management in future. So different bamboo plant together, mixture together. Also for introduce about ecosystem function, the holding soil and erosion control. This depend on the rhythm, this Fagesia mixture rhythm in southwest of China and the East Himalaya. So this Fagesia and the Nisania are very, very important. And this you can see the rhythm very long and mixture with another short rhythm and the long rhythm, And the use this can use for ecological restoration in new river, some river use a simple tail bamboo and the mixture for tail bamboo, Fagesia and the Isania So this bamboo for what resources conservation in tropical area, in low area, in Sichuan and the Dehong Prefecture, and Thailand, Cambodia, and Bangladesh very successful. And this plant along river bank and plant around the village as a protection umbrella for environment. So this river bank and road sand. So the dendrocalamus, bambusa, this tumula calamus, and this Isania. So this use tumula calamus, so in Chile, use a choose the plant around the pasture plant along road sand. So this is also for combo sink in South Red River Prefecture of the Yunnan Province. We are also developed in North Vietnam. That's real way from Hanoi to Kunming. That's from here. So this will be for combo sink and biomass energy. Bamboo. This bamboo can prevent ecosystem function, just like the weather adjustment and air purification. So bamboo even prevents the habitat for elephant and give food for elephant and the red plant. So bamboo for ornament. Show the picture the first. So this bambusa vulgaris. This new species cultivated by molecular technology by our study group. Red color bamboo, yellow color and dark. Okay. different the color leaf, the bamboo for ornament. So this for bonsai bamboo used for bonsai, and bamboo for horticulture. The plant used for living area. So in park, the bamboo used for ornament for export bamboo garden. So this is very beautiful. Even grass use bamboo, small grass bamboo, just Isania, Inaensis, and the Sasa used for makes bamboo. So bamboo can use for the cost erosion control in Thailand. Also support small young tree and anti the soil erosion in the coast beach. So just give a brief introduction about the bamboo plant's very important role in ecology system function surveillance for many purposes. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Let's work together on the bamboo for ecosystem function surveys. The best future in environment sustainable
Thank you very
development.
much, Professor Yang. I think Professor Yang gave us a very informative introduction of the knowledge about the bamboo facts, the diversity of bamboo species, and also the different propagation methods with seeds, combs, branch cuttings, the layers, and tissue culture for seedlings and nurseries, and also the knowledge and the principles for the sustainable management of the podial bamboo species and mixed plantations to maximize the environmental benefits. And I think Professor Yang also touched the key issues on this species site matching and introduced the several priority species that with important value for ecological conservation and production for different climate contexts and regions. I think there's many questions need to be discussed later. So thank you very much, Professor Yang. And now I'm very happy to invite the next speaker, Mr. Tom Okolo, Executive Director of the National Forestry Authority of Uganda. With academic background of forestry, environment and natural resources management, Mr. Okolo started his professional career as forest and environmental officer with Uganda government civil service in 1995. And later on, he joined the Uganda Wildlife Authority to oversee the development and implementation of community conservation programs in and around the wildlife conservation areas. And now he assumed the duty as the Executive Director of the National Forestry Authority since 2018. Mr. Okolo is committed and determined conservationist who believes in creating positive change and results. He has participated in many international negotiations and conferences on conservation aspects. So, Mr. Okolo, floor is open for you.
Thank you very much for the very elaborate introduction. I'm just trying to share my presentation here and see if it can come. Are you seeing me?
Sorry, Tom. I think you shared the laptop. Could you please share the PPT?
I'm trying to share it now. I'm trying to share the PPP.
Yeah, PPT. Not share the laptop.
I shared the desktop. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, that's the wrong one.
Okay. Sorry. Now where is it, Malin? Where do you share it? I shared a different thing. I'm supposed to share this one. Have you seen it now? Has it come? Has it come? Malin, are you trying to share that? Have you seen the presentation?
It did appear. It came and it did appear.
It didn't appear.
It did appear already. Can you resend it again? I think you share it and then you stop.
Hey, sorry.
Yes, it come.
It has come.
It come.
Is it? It is there now.
We see it here, but we try to upload it up. We try to learn. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works.
No, it comes there. Okay, now it comes there.
It works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is there now.
Yes, now there again. Yeah. Would you move to presenting mode, presentation mode, and then give presentation? Thank you.
Okay, now I'm in presentation mode. Are you seeing it?
Yes, we see it going there.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start by saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody who is listening to us, depending on wherever you are in the globe. I want to introduce myself again. I'm Tom Okello, the Executive Director of National Forest Authority. I'm making this presentation on bamboo used for landscape restoration in Uganda. As a background, I want to give you a brief on National Forest Authority, being a semi-autonomous government agency that is mandated to manage the central forest reserves on sustainable basis and to supply high-quality forestry-related products and services to government, local communities, and the private sector. National Forest Authority is a major partner of the Dutch Sino-East Africa Bamboo Development Project, which is implemented by the International Network on Bamboo and Rattan. And National Forest Authority is a national focal point of INBAR in Uganda. NFA and INBAR have implemented a 3-year project from October 2017 to December 2019, which has built on the Chinese and Dutch expertise in bamboo value chain development, product design, marketing, and standardization to support the East Africa to unlock the vast potential of its indigenous bamboo resources for green economic growth, trade, and poverty reduction. Professor Lang talked at length about the different species of bamboo and its usage, the properties and characteristics of bamboo as a plant. And this is the potential which, with support from the Dutch Sino-East African Bamboo Development Project, we are trying to unlock in the country. Basically, the program looked at land restoration and climate mitigation, as well as the value chain development. In Uganda, bamboo is mainly found in the Albertine Rift. That is the western part of the country. And then we have another place in the Mount Elgon environment. We have indigenous bamboo resources which were assessed in 2017. And we're also right now doing on-farm bamboo resource assessment using a mobile phone app, which was developed by INBAR. In Uganda, we have bamboo located in the different regions which I've mentioned, most of which is on the western part of the country, where we have bamboo on Mount Rwenzori, we have bamboo in West Nile, we have bamboo in the central part, which is the north central part, which is in Acholi sub-region. And then we have bamboo in the southwestern Uganda, mainly in Mugainga and Ichoya ecosystem. We have scattered bamboo in Karamoja and the Mount Elgon area, which has the highest. Mount Elgon has 198.7 square kilometers of bamboo. So the total acreage of bamboo in Uganda is 545.3 square kilometers. Most of these bamboo are distributed in protected areas. They are distributed in the wildlife protected areas and in the central forest reserves. And on the screen, you can see the distribution in the protected areas. We have the Ose protected area, that is a forest reserve in the West Nile area, which has about 87.7 square kilometers of bamboo. We have Agoragu Central Forest Reserve in Lamour district in the Choli subregion with 20.4 square kilometers of bamboo. We have Rwenzori Mountains, which has 191 square kilometers of bamboo. And then Mount Elgon with 198.7 square kilometers of bamboo. Mugainga Gorilla National Park with 8.66 and Ichoya with about 1 square kilometers of bamboo. As I said earlier, most of this bamboo is found in the protected areas. And that is the wildlife conservation areas and then the central forest reserves. Two indigenous species stand out in Uganda. We have the lowland bamboo, which is the Gol Oxytenathera abyssinica, and then we have the Usania alpina, which is the island bamboo found on our mountain ranges. Here, this is the map showing the distribution of the bamboo. This is the West Nile. This is the Agoragu in Acholi. Then we have the Mount Elgon here. We have the Rwenzori Mountains here. And then the Mugainga area, the volcanoes down here. So that is where we have the distribution of the different indigenous bamboo species. Why are we really struggling to use bamboo for land restoration? Professor Lang has given you several characteristics of the different species of bamboo, but in Uganda specifically, we are looking at bamboo because of the following reasons. One, bamboo can mature within a very short time of 3 years, and it is ecologically adaptable. You can grow bamboo now in Uganda. We have tested, you can grow it anywhere in the country. You have the island bamboo for the island area. We have the lowland bamboo for the lowland areas. We have so far domesticated some other species which we brought from out, and they're still at pilot, but they're doing very well. Bamboo is one resource with ecological protection and rehabilitation functions, meaning you can use it as a landscape protector, but you can also use it to rehabilitate degraded landscapes. Bamboo has capacity to reduce soil erosion because of its rapid growth, but also because of those other functions which Professor Lang has ably elucidated on, because of the high rhizome root system, which forms a very big mass. Bamboo has a strong root system, making it suited for soil protection. 80% of its roots are in the top 30 centimeters of the soil. Bamboo is suited for riverbank protections, dam sites, lakes, and ponds, as it spreads horizontally. In Uganda, we have piloted bamboo planting along the Nile bank in one of our central forest reserves called Namavundu Central Forest Reserve in Busoga subregion. We are yet to see how it will work out. Bamboo tolerates intermittent flooding in many areas where there is flooding and fast-moving waters. Some of the species are washed away, but you may find bamboo remaining and standing strong. The underground rhizomes enable bamboo to survive forest fires and can easily regenerate after the fires because the rhizomes will be underground and will not have died, so it will still come up. Bamboo is therefore suitable for landslides and mudslide control in Uganda, and we think it can be heavily used in the mountainous area where we have been having incidences of landslides and mudslides, especially in the Mount Elgon and Rwenzori ecosystem. Why use bamboo for land restoration in Uganda? We are saying Uganda lost over 3 million hectares of forest cover between 1990 and 2015, due mainly to conversion to agriculture, urbanization, increased demand for wood and wood fuel, and then lately influx of refugees from the neighboring countries, which have decimated some of the remaining forest ecosystems. And then we have the wildfires, which are almost a yearly basis in most parts of the country. You can see here, this is the effect of urbanization. This is a local forest reserve, under local forest reserve, which is being eaten up by urbanization. Here, this is a forest reserve which is being encroached on for cultivation at this upper part. So these are areas where we think we can use bamboo to very fast recover the lost cover. We also think we can use bamboo because of the increased incidences of land and mudslide occasioned by the loss of vegetation and change of land use from forested to agricultural land. The pictures you are seeing here are pictures taken from the Mount Elgon area, where there were serious mudslides in the last 2 years, which led to loss of life and properties. You can see here people are trying to dig out the remains of the people who are buried. We also have the increased demand for wood and wood products for expanding construction industry and the demand for wood fuel, which we think can be effectively substituted by use of bamboo because of its fast growth and then the high energy content property. About 90% of the population, that is over 40 million, the population in Uganda is over 40 million, use fuel wood, that is firewood and charcoal for cooking and eating. The demand for fuel wood has put tremendous pressure on the country's forest resources. Bamboo can therefore be an effective substitute because of its high calorific value. You see here, this is a forest being cleared for charcoal burning, but down here there is hope. This woman is using bamboo for cooking, using the traditional cooking method, slightly modified. And you can see how the fire is growing very fast. What have we done in Uganda in as far as domesticating and establishment of bamboo as a crop is concerned? One, we established 11 bamboo nurseries under the Dutch Sino-East African Bamboo Development Program and produced over 400,000 seedlings in the last 3 years. We have trained 1,250 participants in sustainable management and harvesting of bamboo. It is not good enough to have bamboo and you fail to manage it, or you harvest it in an unsustainable manner. Bamboo is a renewable resource, fast grower. When it is sustainably harvested and managed, you can have it in perpetuity. We have also established partnerships for bamboo nurseries and on-farm management with the Divine Bamboo. This is a small bamboo producing company, and then we also have Muni University, which we are partnered with in the establishment of bamboo nursery and domestication of bamboo in the West Nile area. We have managed to pilot sustainable management of 300 hectares of Usania alpina bamboo forest in the Chuya Central Forest Reserve, which has given us very good outcome. If you see in this picture, the upper picture showed the bamboo before sustainable management practices. The lower one shows bamboo which has been sustainably managed. You can see the number of young ones coming up in the lower picture just because the old one were already removed. And you can even see the plantation becoming more thick because of sustainable management. We have also enhanced capacity of the 4 collaborative forest management groups with over 300 members on sustainable harvesting and management of bamboo. We have provided planting materials to 300 farmers, planting and managing bamboo on their farmland. Out of the 300 farmers, a third of them are women. We have replicated these sustainable management practices in Ose Central Forest Reserve in West Nile and the communities around Mugainga, Gorilla National Park, and Paida in also the West Nile region. On plantation establishment, we have established so far 300 hectares of pilot plantations, mainly for production of planting materials and community utilization. We are seeing increased interest in bamboo, but one of the stumbling blocks has been production and propagation of the planting material. A seedling of bamboo has been going for 5,000 shillings, which we think is still very high for the average farmer to afford. So we want to domesticate the propagation of seedlings, and to date, we are trying to decentralize the nurseries and also encourage the establishments of community-based nurseries, where we train the communities to even propagate bamboo from cuttings, just like you are seeing in this picture, which is below here. This is a community nursery which is being set up and it is used as a training ground for the propagation of bamboo. We have also collected seeds of bamboo and distributed it for growing. We have trained several participants in nursery management. You can see the number is 361, but also we have used bamboo as a pilot to restore 141.7 hectares of degraded forest. We have allocated land in government forests for bamboo establishment, including we gave 500 hectares in Kasagala Central Forest Reserve and 2,000 hectares in North Rwenzori Central Forest Reserve to private farmers. We want to have a critical mass of bamboo plantation in the country to augment what people are getting from the protected areas. We, as a country, developed the National Bamboo Strategy, which is aimed at a comprehensive and integrated use of bamboo in restoring forest ecosystems and also improving community livelihoods. Using bamboo, we are using bamboo as a country to meet the forest landscape restoration target for Uganda. You are aware, some of you, that Uganda committed to restoring 2.5 million hectares under the Bond Challenge by 2030. And the government projects to use 15%, which is 375,000 hectares to be restored by use of bamboo. And 28% of this is supposed to be on government land. Those are the forest reserves and other government land, while 72% will be on private land. So as a short-term goal, which is the 5-year goal from 2019 to 2020, we project that we are going to plant at least 70,000 hectares of bamboo, 30,000 on government land and 40,000 on private land. To implement this strategy, we need United States dollars 118 million, which will be required to implement the action plan as we propagate and domesticate bamboo as a landscape restoration tool in the country. What lessons have we learned so far? After piloting the 300 hectares put under sustainable management and harvesting in the Choya Central Forest Reserve, we have learned that weeding and suspension of harvesting for a period of 2 years is a very successful method for regeneration of degraded bamboo forest. So the people who have bamboo forest here, you can suspend harvesting, but also you weed, you remove the dead old ones, you will be freeing the area, and then you are freeing the soil for the emergence of the new bamboo shoot. So this is something which we have seen. And then we have also learned that replanting of completely degraded forests with bamboo is a very successful practice for natural regeneration, as original indigenous species have been cited to regenerate even in the understory of the bamboo planting. Professor Lang elaborated the use of the mix of bamboo with crops, bamboo with other trees, bamboo with other plants. So here, even in Uganda, we have noticed that when you do bamboo restoration as a restoration tool, other species normally regenerate in the understory of the bamboo. So this is a very good practice. Bamboo is very suitable for flood control, for landslide control, and for soil erosion control. It is a very effective crop because of the root system, which I've said is normally concentrated within the first 30 centimeters below the ground. Bamboo promotion has led to increased socioeconomic and environmental benefits in the country. We already have some industries, small scale still, making toothpick from bamboo. We are making so many souvenirs from bamboo. We also have a bicycle now made out of bamboo frame. which is a step forward. We are working with Uganda Industrial Research Institute to try to develop the technologies for other products. As we develop the value chain of bamboo, we want to really consider the principles of the investment. When we are thinking of value chain, we are looking at the crop. We must develop the crop. That is why we are struggling to raise the nurseries, to raise the seedlings. We must look at the entrepreneurships. We are building capacity, the skills, and then we also need to look at technology. That's the reason why we are working with Uganda Industrial Research Institute. But one key factor is capital. So we want bamboo to be in the national development agenda, just like another crop. And then we use forestry as one of the crop to drive and to spur economic development. Bamboo can easily be industrialized. We can get paper from bamboo. We can get toilet paper from bamboo. We can even get other products, other wood and non-wood products from bamboo. I thank you so much for listening to me and looking forward to a useful and fruitful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oklo. A very excellent presentation that introduced how the Uganda country used bamboo to restore the degraded land to meet the environmental targets and plantation, and also to meet the local demand for wood and wood fuel as commodities. I think it also touches the point that the restoration with bamboo also provides the development opportunities for women. That's about 30% of the beneficiary from the pilot project. And the livelihood development value chain with technologies that with value addition products, the social and economic aspect is also very important for setting restoration programs, which will ensure the sustainability in a long term. I think also the capacity building and empowering communities is essential for the enough seedlings and the nursery supply chains. And I'm very happy to know that Uganda will scale up the pilot projects to another 2.5 million hectare degraded land by investing in more than $100 million US by 2030. Thank you very much, Mr. Oklo. Now I would like to invite our last presenter of today, Mr. Jaiman. Durai is currently working as the Director of Global Programs at INBAR, where he manages the global bamboo development projects and programs in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. He has over 18 years experience in bamboo development, worked in different regions of India, Cambodia, and have extensive worked in different countries of East Africa. Durai, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Yangxia. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, like some good night to some of you, like because we are in different time zones. So can you guys see the presentation?
Yes, I see the presentation.
So I want to congratulate Professor Ryan and Mr. Tom for their excellent presentation. So my presentation will be focusing on the INBAR projects, experiences and lessons in implementing bamboo restoration projects in different parts of the world. As we know, land degradation is one of the global challenges which we are facing, and over 2 billion hectares of land is affected by the land degradation due to soil fertility, biodiversity loss, the carbon stock effects, and so on. and more than 1 billion people live in these degraded landscapes. So this degradation of forest, cropland, the rangeland, it threatens livelihood, income, well-being, food, water, energy security, as well as the resilience of the people who live in these landscapes. 3 international conventions have a direct relationship with the land degradation, as well as like many countries in the world focus on the restoring the land to reclaim the ecological integrity as well as the economic aspects. Over 350 million hectares have been committed by different countries, different organizations to like restore by the year like 2030. When it comes to bamboo, about 6 million hectares were committed by the INBAR member states, and out of which 180,000 hectares were planted already. Bamboo, as Professor Yan and Mr. Tom have said, we have around like some 1642 species, and about like 30 million hectares of the land and forest is under bamboo. The global trade is about, the global internal production and consumption is about 60 billion US dollar, and the international trade is about 2 billion US dollar. It like reaches and like some benefits over 2 billion people, and over 10,000 products and utilities are there for bamboo, and it shows how versatile the resource is. So why bamboo is suitable for landscape restoration is that we have to measure it like based upon so many parameters. It is like some good for soil and water. So many researchers have done by INBAR as well as other organizations have shown that like some bamboo is like good for soil. It is like good for soil moisture. It is like good for water recharge, increase in water table, increasing the aquifers, and so on. Bamboo is a food not only for the human but also like a fodder and feed for like some wildlife, animals, like our cattle. Bamboo, like some any other wood, is a fuel. It can be converted into charcoal, briquette, pellet, and also useful for generation of electricity as well as for production of ethanol and other products. So many endangered species like giant panda, like mountain gorillas, like the Bale mountain monkeys, the amus, they feed and they take shelter in like bamboo, including elephants. Bamboo, you can set up enterprises with the hand tools you have at home, and at the same time you can set up a factory to produce high-end product which involves like some millions of US dollar. So it is like some good, it actually benefits both like some men and women because it is light, you can split it easily, process it easily, and it provides employment opportunities for women as it provides for men. Bamboo is integral to the culture of like so many societies, in food, in their residence, in their way of life, and so on. So all these key indicators are like represent that bamboo is a very good resource for the land restoration. Bamboo is good for biodiversity as well as like some sustainability. You know, bamboo is technically a grass. So which means the underground rhizome system provides shoot every year, and which provides opportunity for the farmers to harvest it every year. So it's an annual crop. So it is integrated into agriculture. And at the same time, harvesting bamboo does not result in afforestation or degradation. So it provides like continuous cover for the land and for the soil. So it is like good from the forestry species. So it can also grow in like some marginal soil, and at the same time it can grow like some very well in fertile soil in high rainfall zones. With over like some 1642 species, you have like some wide variety of the species to choose from according to your geographical conditions as well as the end users like which we are planning for. It can sustain droughts, it can sustain strong winds, it can sustain floods, and it is also like fire tolerant. It grows about like 1.2 meter a day. The whole bamboo culm is grown within 3 months. So we can call it like some Ferrari of all the woody plants because of its growth. The key aspects of intervention which I want to focus now is like 4 areas. One is nursery, which is important if we want to produce the planting material. The second is the models for setting up plantation. If we want to like restore land or like regreen land, it is important. Then sustainable management and harvesting is important so that the ecosystem functions and the economic functions are maintained. And like most importantly, the value addition is important so that we have uptake and the sustainability of the interventions in the years to come. When it comes to nursery, we have trialed out 6 or like 5 different like some model. One is we work with the national governments to support them to upscale their nurseries or to include bamboo in their portfolio. We support like some women groups to set up nurseries, private nurseries, the private players who produce and sell bamboo plants in nurseries by their research agencies, NGOs, projects, as well as the individual farmer. So depending upon the context, different scale, different like some models of nurseries can be trialed out. If we see the bottleneck in scaling up the nursery for a country is, if we go like first they will say, what will I do by producing bamboo plant, like where is the market? So the interventions, like what we do to solve it is create awareness and sensitization. We create demand in the initial period of time, provide them the exposure, train them to create interest in growing like some bamboo seedlings in the nursery. Then the second issue is production of quality planting material as well as the quantity of the species like required is a very big challenge to scale up the landscape restoration effort. So we have been training like capacity building all the stakeholders on the vegetative propagation methods to choose the right species, to choose the right mother, which has the same properties which is suitable for like value addition. And the knowledge, technical capacity to produce is not there. So the projects we generally set up demonstration nurseries, conduct training and capacity building activities. And like the most important thing which Mr. Tom have already mentioned is the high cost of seedling. As happens due to the chicken and egg situation means that we don't have high demand for the planting material. So the cost of planting material becomes high. So the project, we support the nurseries to connect them with the restoration project. We support them with like a minimum guarantee for the small nursery operators so that they have the guaranteed market. So the cycle goes on. When it comes to like restoration, we have tried different models of like restoration, planting on a very big scale for reclaiming the mountains or degraded lands, planting on the community woodland scale. Yeah, this is mainly to get like some fuel wood in the places close to where they are located, integrating bamboo agroforestry system so that I can grow crops along with bamboo, in farm boundary planting, shelter bed planting, planting around streams, planting around like rivers, and planting it in households by few clumps, 3, 4, 5 clumps in the home, as well as planting in like some farmlands. This picture shows the mobile application. If we see this, the bamboo planting wherever which has done is done in like some particular cluster. I will come to why clustering is important in my future slides. The bottlenecks and the solutions we applied to upscale plantation is the main bottleneck is the shortage of land, the agriculture land and the competing land use. So in the places where there is shortage of land, planting on farm boundaries, planting on homestead, planting a shelter bed will have the relevance. And also, as like Mr. Tom have said, we are also working with the governments to enable them to allocate land for the farmers, for the community forest management groups, as well as private sector to plant bamboo and to get like some benefit from it. And the key questions which the farmer asks is, where is the market? So what will I do with the bamboo after I get the harvest? So basically in the initial time, we provide them options to use them as a fodder, to use them as a firewood, use them as a scaffold, use them in like some very simple application. In addition to gradually supporting them to build the value chains, to move up the value chain. And also the focus, what we do is plant and upscale the planting in areas where the bamboo culture is already there. So the acceptance, the supply chain, the interest is already there. And there are so many like some myths and beliefs associated with bamboo. Farmers say if we plant bamboo, it will make my soil poor, it will spread, it will occupy my land. Snakes will come. So many problems are there. Creating awareness, creating demonstration models for them is key. Farmers in awareness, they get high expectation on returns. I will become a millionaire by planting bamboo. So if we have to face all these kind of challenges and to rationalize their understanding that bamboo is like any other agriculture crops, or like forestry crop, but the returns is annual and the returns are comparable or slightly better than the other crops. It is perennial, so it is climate resilient, it has like some multiple use. So with all these things, we rationalize their expectations. And the third area which I want to focus is the sustainable management and harvesting of bamboo. We have to clearly understand that bamboo is from grass family. It grows from rhizome. We have to harvest it every year so that it has space and it can grow well. If we see like the most of the bamboo forest, majority of the bamboo is inside the forest land, and at the same time, the management is not there. So in some cases it is undermanaged, and in some cases it is harvested like some overly. You can see from the above picture that the two picture is from a forest and from a communal land where there is high amount of harvesting. So it shows that the demand is there, but it is not harvested well, or it is not harvested appropriately, so that the forest is like getting bad like over the period of years. And in the below slide, you can see that the bamboo grown by the farmers, which is like managed well and appropriately spaced, and then the harvesting becomes like some sustainable. The main problems in sustainable management is among the foresters, they don't have a clear understanding on the growing habits of the bamboo. So the training them, capacity building them, showing them what it is done in other parts of the world have changed the mindset. And like Mr. Tom have said that in Uganda they have transformed about 300 hectares of like some bamboo like restoration. And at the same time, the industries are facing problem. They don't get the right quality raw material, the right amount of raw material. So we, as the project, we support them in supply chain development, in age grading, in size grading, all those aspects. Broadly, bamboo has a huge scope to integrate it in forestry, in agricultural landscape, into like some silvipastoral landscape, and so on. I would like to showcase simple cases from India and China. In China, over the past 3 or 4 decades, you can see from the above slide, they added about 300 million hectares of bamboo. You can see from the below slide that 73% of the bamboo planted or like managed belong to only one species, which is like some moso. So the industrial development, the value chain development, the technologies becomes like some very simple to standardize and to industrialize. And from the below slide, you can see about like some 86% of the bamboo is like some managed by the communities and by the private, though like some 61% of their bamboo area is under the forest. Yet this indicates that the bamboo has to be managed, and communities, private sector can play a very important role in like some managing the bamboo resources and creating economy out of it. For that, they have provided the incentives for planting, the infrastructure support, like some extension support, training and capacity building were provided to add 3 million hectares of like bamboo. And currently about like 36 billion US dollar is the economic returns which they derive from bamboo, and it employs about like 10 million people. Contrasting the case with India, over the past like some 15 years, we could be able to plant 500,000 hectares of bamboo, but it is both inside the forest and outside the forest. And about like some 1,500 nurseries have been set up. Currently, the productivity is very low. It is important to note that like some 80% of the bamboo is still in forest area, and it is controlled by the forest department. It is not managed. So the value chain has not developed. The industries, the supply chain has not developed. And at the same time, we are planting about 10 species of like some bamboo, which is too broad for industrialization. So from these two slides, I want to show that species focus is like some very important. Cluster development and planting bamboo in a particular cluster is like some very important. Managing the bamboo resources and creating a supply chain and economy out of it, even when the bamboo is grown in forest, is important if we want to promote the bamboo industry in the short term. The key approach, like what we can do for like some value chain development, which will have like ripple effect into the restoration area, is we need to plan as per the stages of development. We should remember China has built the bamboo industry over 3 or 4 decades. So there are so many stages in like some bamboo sector development. Different countries should plan according to their current stage of growth. It is important that we should focus on like some mass consumption products like some pulp and paper, bamboo energy, bamboo egg-based product, integrating it with horticulture and agriculture packaging, construction, furniture, should. The idea is to consume plenty of the bamboo resources which are grown. If there is consumption of bamboo, the market will be created. And if the market will be created, the farmers will be automatically planting the bamboo in their farmlands. So I want to, these are all the pictures which shows the bamboo utilization at like a very simple scale. And we don't have like a silver bullet, but the important point is we create demand. We create the initial market pull. We need, if the countries want to develop bamboo for restoration, we have to create policies, strategies, and plans. We have to converge the resources. We have like some resources for climate change mitigation. We have like resources for climate change adaptation, for like some watershed promotion. For like some energy project, we have to converge all these resources to the bamboo sector so that the bamboo sector can contribute to them backwards. In addition to farmers getting income by the sale of like some bamboo poles, it is also important for us to create mechanisms, the additional payment mechanisms through the payment of ecosystem services, carbon credits, and so on. So I would recommend to develop particular clusters within the country, focus on a particular species, sustainably manage the available resource, create supply chain by on-farm processing. It is important that the small models are demonstrated so that it is validated and replicated. We need to create mechanisms to utilize the maximum portion of the biomass. For example, in many countries, I see they set up a toothpick processing factory. In the toothpick processing factory, they are only utilizing the 15% of the biomass. The remaining 80% of the biomass is unutilized. In a cluster, plantings create enterprises so that the maximum biomass is utilized and some value added, so that automatically the price of the products will come down and the returns to the industries and the farmers will grow up. Innovate according to the market preferences, because the market is changing, and it is important that the government creates an overall enabling situation and to encourage the private sector to get into it and benefit the country economically as well as ecologically. I think so we should engineer bamboo planting, and I want to thank Yangxia and Long for inviting me as a moderator. I thank all the participants for their participation as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Durai. This is a very it's a great presentation that provides the detailed and practical solutions and recommendations to the key obstacles such as the high cost of seedlings, the lack of quality and the supply of the seedlings, and the lack of the technical capacity and the shortage of lands. All those obstacles well addressed during the implementation of bamboo restoration projects. And I think the two cases from India and China also illustrate very well the recommendations on the market-driven approach applied to ensure and inspire the interest of smallholders and the sustainability of the restoration efforts. And it's also very important to adopt the step-by-step strategies to plan as per stage of the development for value addition and optimize the production of bamboo products at the beginning. And it's very essential to have enabling environment, and the enabling environment should be in place, such as the policy instruments, the strategies, the development plans, and also the mechanism for the financial support, such as the PES and carbon finance and extra. A very, very comprehensive presentation and very informative solutions provided. Thank you very much, Durai. Now we have finished the three presentations. Thank you very much for our speakers. Now we will have some interactive discussions. So Long, hand over to you for chair this session.
Thank you, Jackson. Oh, yes. I can do it. Okay. First of all, I would like to congratulate for our three presenters. You give very excellent presentation today with very detailed. I think today we spend a little bit longer time than we planned, and we also have quite a lot of questions. So far we have around 36 questions from audience without moderator question. That is so, but we will give priority to the audience. So the first, we aim to address as many as possible the question from audience. So I will read the question, and our presenters will select which question they should answer. Because we have here 36 questions, so I expect that in the question we should answer as short as possible. So the first question here is, are there any suitable species for land restoration on the riverside and sea coastal? This one should be suitable for Professor Zhang. Please, Professor Zhang. Please unmute your micro. Yeah.
OK， 这是个问题啊。OK， hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
OK， 大家说什么问题啊？我听清楚。没注意。
杨教授他就问说，那个在海滨和河边有哪些比较适合的猪种用于恢复
？OK， I just answer Texas question. So, close wetland can use the also popular in wetlands cumulocalamus. This is also popular plant in wetland, can close river bank and coast beach. And also another species is also Isania. And also one species very good for wetland. The Bambusa intermedia. The Bambusa intermedia is also introduced from China to Agado.
Okay.
So also successful growth in tropical wetland area.
Yeah. Okay. Thank Professor Zhang. In addition to it, I would like also to say something. In the river bank, if it is not flooded for the long period, more than 2-3 days, any other species can be growing there. But in case of landslide prone area, should not plant with the larger size bamboo and clumping bamboo, because the bamboo with larger size with a lot of biomass, they're easy to be collapsed, entire clump. If that's the case, then it can go out entire clump to the river and it can run down, blocks in the dam or other construction. It may affect the breed, for example. But if it's very steep and landslide prone zone, suitable species like running bamboo species and low biomass species. It means small bamboo species. The next question. The next question here, I'm not sure who will come to answer the question here. What do you think of the perception on bamboo as invasive species for restoration? How to manage it? Perception and how to select bamboo species in order to combine with other species and avoid monocrop. Maybe Durai answers the question.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question is two parts for Durai. The part one is how is the perception of bamboo invasive, and then for when you use for restoration, and how to manage it, and just another part is can bamboo combine with other species to avoid monocultivation.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Long. The perception of invasiveness is like measured depending upon some various parameters. Sometimes it depends upon the fluorescence, the flowering habit, the seed setting habits, the anthropogenic movement, as well as some movement by floods and so on. As far as my perception, or as far as I think the majority perception is the bamboo which are clumping, like some sympodial bamboo species, they are generally not perceived as invasive ones, like because it stays in the places where they are. But there is a caveat. Some species like vulgaris, which generally grows along the streams, when it is broken, it is carried away by water, and then it grows in the places where it actually settles down. So this one is like much better. So generally we can say that sympodial bamboos are generally perceived not invasive, and like some monopodial species are perceived as invasive ones, like because you plant here over the period of years can reach like few kilometers from the place like where you planted, like your monopodial ones, but the sympodial ones will probably remains the same. How do we manage it? The invasive ones is, there are so many methods by which people manage it. The one method is they create a trench around the places where the spreading bamboos are, so that the rhizomes, they don't go to the other places like because of the trench, and then it is like quite possible to manage. And the second question is, can bamboo be planted as like a mixed crop? We advise planting to be like a mixed cropping patterns. And like your bamboo is small, it is like better to grow agricultural crops, and it is also possible to integrate bamboo with other tree species. For example, if we are planting bamboo in slopy lands, bamboo's roots are shallow, about like some 80% of the root is in the top like 30 centimeter of the soil, and the remaining roots in say like some 50 centimeter. It can be planted along with some trees which has taproot or the roots which are deep, so that it holds the soil deep, the trees, and the bamboo holds the topsoil. So integrating bamboo with trees, or in the places where we want to like restore, like some, we should not trouble the existing tree canopy, or like some eliminate the tree canopy with bamboo. So planting bamboo along with some other tree species will be good, and so many species in the world also grows as an understory. In addition to bamboo growing as the upper story crop, it also grows as an understory crop.
Thank you, Durai. Thank you. The next question here, I see that is Professor Zhang already answered some here, but maybe can you make it clear a bit here? What is the cost? What is the cost estimated in land restoration with bamboo per hectare, and the economic benefit derived from it, maybe after 5 to 10 years? Professor Yang, could you please unmute? Oh, yes.
就是那个嘛，就是那个 cost 哦。So this depend on the choose bamboo species and label invest. So average cost for each hectare in South tropical area is about US dollar 1,500 to 2,000 US dollar for each hectare. This maybe seedling. Seedling cost is about 30% of our cost, and another about plant and management cost. So maybe in tropical area, if use simple bamboo, just like the dendrocolumnus, Philostachys, and Pterostracum, and more, the tropical simple bamboo grows very fast in tropical area. Maybe 3 or 4 years, from 3 to 4 years, can harvest the bamboo shoots. Maybe each hectare about 3,000 kilogram bamboo shoots for each hectare at 1,000 kilogram of each hectare for corn. So a total about 2,500 to 3,000 US dollar for each hectare. So this is successful in South Ina. Dendrocolumnus hamiltoni, Dendrocolumnus splendidus, the shoots price is very expensive in local, but I just give this price is on low level.
Okay.
So
thank you, Professor. What about another opinion from Tom and Durai, for example?
Yeah, Mr. Dr. Long, I wanted to say something about the cost of production. Yeah. In Uganda, we made a conservative calculations, and then we discovered that in the Ugandan context, you can raise 1 hectare of bamboo using 600,000 Uganda shillings, which is equivalent to about 162 US dollars per hectare. That is the cost of production. The maintenance cost can be about 30% of that, which is about 200,000 Uganda shillings, or about 55 US dollars per hectare per year. But when it comes to the returns, if you are to do poles only, each hectare can yield about 2,400 poles per year. And then when you sell it at a very conservative estimate of 2,000 Uganda shillings per pole, which is less than, which is about half a dollar, you can end up getting up to $1,300 per year, or an equivalent of 4.8 million Uganda shillings per year. So that is the estimates which we have here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. The next question here, I think it already addressed by Durai and Tom presentation. What are the challenges and problems encountered in land restoration using bamboo? How they have been addressed? I think it question already answered by Tom presentation and Durai before. So I will skip this question. The next one question is advisable to apply fertilizer when planting bamboo in degraded soil or degraded land? Who would like to answer this one?
Yeah, it depends upon you.
I put Durai up.
Yeah, I think for like some bamboo, the important point is, I think we have to understand like some input is equal to output. If we can add like some fertilizer, if we can add like some manure, the productivity, the growth, they will be like some much better. But please remember to put the fertilizer when it is like some raining, when it is like some wet. Otherwise, the fertilizer can kill your plant.
Thank you very much, Dura. The next question is for Tom. Is there any source to find adequate bamboo species for dry area? Any experience of restoration in dry area in Africa? Why? Where any source to find it to be found? This question is for Tom. Specifically for Tom. Tom, could you please unmute or please unmute?
Can you come with the question again?
Okay. Is there any source to find adequate bamboo species for dry area? It means that can you find any the sort of bamboo species for planting in dry area? Any experience of restoration in dry area in Africa?
So I think let me give the Ugandan experience. In Uganda, we have what we call the lowland bamboo, which is the Oxytenathera abyssinica. This species grows in the northern part of the country, including West Nile, which relatively doesn't have much rainfall compared to other parts of the country. and it is doing very well. And we think this species can be planted in any part of this country and even other drier area of the continent. But in Uganda, if you want to get these seedlings of this bamboo, we have nurseries which have raised this species. We are distributed across the northern part of the country. We have the nurseries in Gulu, we have the nursery in Masindi, we have the nursery in Bale, we have the nursery in Muni, where you can get this planting material for these species. Even around this Kampala area, we have Divine Bamboo, which is in Nigeria. We have Uganda Bamboo Association, which has a nursery in Busega. These species are raised in this nursery. So if you go to Moyo, we have the Friends of Bamboo, which has raised several species, which is suitable for restoration in the dry area.
Okay, Tom. By the way, Shidje, you have another question here for you. What is the mechanism which Uganda put in place to upscale landscape restoration, both by public and private? What is the mechanism which Uganda put in place to upscale landscape restoration, both public and private?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. Uganda, as I told you, we have a target to restore degraded landscape, which the government committed under the bond challenge of the United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, and where we are supposed to restore up to 2.5 million hectares of degraded landscape. At the operational level, as Ministry of Water and Environment and Uganda National Forest Authority, we are looking at the private sector involvement, first of all, in restoring the degraded central forest reserves, where we give them licenses for commercial tree growing. You are given a license, a long-term lease where you can grow your trees and even harvest it. You can even do 2 to 3 rotations depending on the species and depending on the size of the land which you have. The bigger the land, the higher the time which you are given. So this is one mechanism which government is using to fast track the restoration of degraded forest ecosystems by use of the private sector. But also as government, Parliament has appropriated funds which we are using to restore especially the degraded natural forest by doing enrichment planting and also improving on the forest management by improving on forest patrols and then deployments so that the forest is not further degraded. So these are some of the mechanisms which we are using, but in areas outside the forest reserves, especially in areas which are mountainous and areas which are hilly, the communities are also being encouraged to do landscape planting where you use the contours and then you ensure that the crops and the soil is not washed away. So these are some of the mechanisms which government and the private communities and private sector have used. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. The next question is probably for Professor Zhang or Durai. Could you please, what bamboo species are suitable for restoring Laha affected area? Laha, I think that it is a mud flow come from volcano, volcano come out. Probably that is the question. I'm not sure any bamboo species can grow in this area or not. What bamboo species are suitable for restoring Laha affected area?
I think we need like some soil. Because if we see like most of the African highland, it is all like volcano based. In the course of time, the volcano weathering happens and then it converts into soil. And after the soil is being converted, it is possible to grow the bamboo. But if you ask, can I grow bamboo in the place where the volcano have like some erupted before 5 years and we have like some volcanic rocks and so on, I don't think it will be possible, because at least we need 10 to 15 centimeter of soil at least. If we find some soil, like some weathering happens in the volcanic place, so many bamboo species can grow there. Alpina, if you see the Shania alpina, it is found like mostly in like your volcanic ranges, but the weathering have happened already.
Okay, thank you, Roy. There's a question here I forgot before that. How can bamboo forests and plantation benefit to the refugee communities? Maybe could you write?
Yeah, I think like Mr. Tom has a very interesting case in his organization. Probably we can hear from him, and I will add to that, like because NFA, they had an interesting project there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorai and Dr. Long. The refugees come in big numbers and is settled in some areas which we may call fragile ecosystems. In some areas, they are settled in degraded areas. So in Uganda, we are even using bamboo together with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees to restore degraded areas which are occasioned by the utilization of the natural resources by the refugee communities and even the host communities. We are using bamboo because of its fast growth to provide firewood for the refugees, to provide building materials for the refugees, but also to restore the forests which are being degraded by the refugees. The refugees themselves can also use bamboo, can add value to the bamboo, and possibly if their capacity is built, they can do handcraft which they can sell to get that much needed money which they need for their survival. So they have a very high demand for construction material, a very high demand for fuel wood, which can be met by use of bamboo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This question for you as well, Tom. Could you please elaborate on the domesticated species species in Uganda? Is there any legal protection of planted bamboo on riverbank? The question for Uganda.
Can you repeat the second part of the question?
Second part is there any legal protection or any regulation to protect bamboo on the riverbank?
Now, I think let me start by that one. Okay. In Uganda, river banks are protected by what we call the River Banks and Lakeshore Regulation of year 2000, where depending on the size of the river, in many cases, big rivers like River Niles, 100 meters from the highest water mark is a protection zone. And it is expected that whatever is planted along that protection zone is protected by that law, by that regulation. But the one we are planted in Ginger, we are planted in a Central Forest Reserve, which is already a protected area. So that one is already protected, is within our operational area, within the Central Forest Reserve. So it is protected by both the National Forestry and Tree Planting Act, but also by the River Banks and Lakeshores Regulation of Uganda. Now, the domesticated species in Uganda, as I was presenting, I said Uganda traditionally had the two indigenous species of Oxytenathera abyssinica, which is what we call the lowland bamboo, which is mainly found in the West Nile, in Acholi sub-region, in Karamoja, and then we had the what we call the highland bamboo, that is the Usania alpina, which is mainly found in Mugainga, in Rwenzori, and in the Elgon area. These are indigenous Ugandan species. But we are also having species which are being introduced into the country right now. We have a species called Bambusa polymatha. We have then Dendrocalamus haspa. Then we have the Dendrocalamus gigantus, what we call the giant bamboo, which I think many people would have seen it and got a lot of interest in the giant bamboo. But we also have Bambusa vulgaris. These are species which have been introduced and they are doing very well in the country. And we think when we multiply them, we can meet the demand in future.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. I think the next question, it could be for either Professor Zhang or Durai. Could you explain, please, how bamboo could be renewable resources unless we manage it in sustainable manner? Okay.
So I think I can answer, but Professor Yan, if you are interested, please go ahead, sir.
So we can choose some faster growth species and can harvest the shoots in short time, maybe 2 years or 3 years. And this bamboo are not so big, but grow faster and sprout the shoots, just like the cumulocalamus. This very good species. This genre includes 8 species in South Yunnan and North Vietnam. Discovery by my teacher 30 years ago. Just also shows slides the cumulocalamus. This shoot temple in tropical area were also introduced from Yunnan to Rwanda, very successful. So the shoots, the very delicious, and the comb not so big, but very good for weaving, heavy craft, and some agriculture tools. So I think 3 years ago we also take this project in Rwanda and Mozambique. This species, this genus very successful, and also have another type, the bamboo, just like Bambusa textilis. Bambusa textilis is also soft weaving, good for weaving, and the shoots is also very delicious. But there's only one species, Bambusa textilis, is also successful in Rwanda. So another subtropical or mountain area, not so hot. In mountain area, we can choose Cumulobambusa. This spring shoots in autumn. But this belong to mixture fodder rhythm. So this is suitable for subtropical area and mountain area, is also good for shoots and comb for weaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Zhang.
You allow me to add. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, I think Professor Yan's insights are quite good for us to introduce a species. For the question specifically, bamboo, why we call it like some renewable? Because it produces shoots every year. It can produce the bamboo culm every year. Yeah, and then it provides opportunity to harvest it every year, like without planting. So it produces again and again. So that actually makes it like renewable. If we talk about the sustainable management, we are like moving to some other angle of climate change mitigation and all those aspects. The renewability comes from its annual shoot producing habit and annual possibility of harvesting without planting it again.
Thank you, Duran. I think the time is running out. I will select 3 random questions more for the presenter, and then after that I will close the session, and then some remaining question we will keep it here, and then we will answer you by later by our email or system. If you get the feedback, the link there, then we will send you the answer into the feedback by your email individually. The next question here, the first one I thought here, how do effectiveness for intercropping agroforestry with other crop for competition of nutrition. Okay, how do you have more effective intercropping bamboo with other species in agriculture, bamboo-based agricultural forestry, in order to avoid nutrition competition and sunlight?
Okay. So
yes, do right, please.
Okay, yeah. So I think the two things like some which we have to like remember in intercropping is about like some competition and like your complementarity. If we plant the species of the same family, for example, like your bamboo is a grass, like some paddy is a grass, like some wheat is a grass, they require the same kind of food. So it creates like some competition. So a complementarity comes when one species consume the species, consume the food which other species produced. For example, if you plant like a crop from another family, say like your Vigna family or like your grain family, you know, like your beans, like peas, all those kind of thing. It produces nitrogen in the root system, and the bamboo absorbs the nitrogen for its like some fast growth. So choose the species which is like your complementarity to like some one another, in addition to provision of shade. Some species grows tall, and like some species of agriculture crops it broadens. So we have to think about the root system, we have to think about the canopy structure, we have to think about the complementarity of those species. So generally speaking, it is good to plant the species like which is like beans, soya bean, groundnut, all those crops. In the year 1 and 2, you can plant even the crops from the grass family. It is always better to plant from another family like groundnut, like your peas, all those things. And from the year 3 and 4, it is like better to grow shade-loving plants along with like some bamboo to have like some complementarity and for its growth.
Thank you, Duraj.
Professor Lang.
Yeah.
Professor Long, probably I could also add that I think the idea of the issue of spacing also have to be thought about. And then we must also consider management of the crop itself and management of the bamboo as a crop. Because if you plant, you don't manage, then it will probably overtake all the other species which you are planting. Durai has made it very clear the shading, what we call the shade tolerant species, should be planted probably when the canopy is almost closing, because if you don't plant the shade tolerant species, they will all be killed by the shade. So basically, on top of the root system, the shading, we also need to look at the growth rate. Probably you don't plant a species, you will compete and grow at the same rate with the bamboo. They may end up competing and you don't get anything out of that agroforestry mix. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. The next question here is also for you as well, Tom. It is that apart from two indigenous species, that is Alpina and Abyssinica, you also plant other species. What is your observation of other species growing in your countries?
Yeah, just like I've already mentioned before, that apart from the Abyssinica and then the Alpina, we have the Bambusa vulgaris, which we have introduced. We have the Dendrocalamus asper, we have the Dendrocalamus giganta, and we have planted these species. We have them in different nurseries, and they are doing well. I think bamboo, we see, but Uganda is for bamboo. We can grow bamboo in this country.
Okay, thank you very much. There's still some more questions, but I think I will close section right now. Apology for us audience for your question have not been answered, but I share with you the link. That is a feedback link. Could you click there and drop your email address? I will answer with the other question to you individually by email later. Yeah, and I think now we already just spent 2 hours on this. And on behalf of the organizer, we would like to thank all of the 3 excellent presenters, and thank to all the audience for spending time and giving your question and then listen to our. Thank you very much. I think Zanzia will give another announcement for the coming section.
Thank you very much. I would like to share you the upcoming session of INBAR webinar series next Tuesday. So the next session, the topic is bamboo for conservation of endangered species. So it's scheduled at the same time. It's 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Beijing time on the 14th of July, next Tuesday. The session will discuss the role of bamboo in conserving endangered species across the world. So you will find the webinar link and more details